Our former Sussex Church of England priest has been jailed for 10 years today after being found guilty of a string of sexual offences against 2 young boys. 68-year-old Christopher Howarth from Uckfield had claimed his obesity and other health problems meant he couldn't have carried out the abuse. But a jury at Lewes Crown Court didn't believe him, and he was found guilty of 26 offences between 2004 and 2012. Piers Hopkirk reports.
Standing in the pulpit, Christopher Howarth was a man much respected in his local community. But behind this facade, the priest and school teacher was in reality a manipulative paedophile who subjected 2 vulnerable boys to nearly a decade of abuse.
It's interesting to note that he didn't just groom the victims, but also the families and the wider community. He was considered a pillar of the community. And even now, up to the court case and sentencing, petitions have been signed by the community, by over 900 people, calling him a legend. And I think that's very typical of grooming behaviour, where people get taken in because no one wants to face or confront this horror.
Sentencing an impassive Howarth to a decade behind bars, the judge, Shani Barnes, told him, "I want to make it clear that I'm representing the full force of the damage and harm you inflicted on these 2 little boys who came into your church, your school and your care. We should now consider how they will rebuild their lives after the destruction you have reaped." Howarth was a priest at Holy Cross Church in Uckfield and a deputy head at Uckfield Community Technology College. A spokesman called Howarth's behaviour shocking and abhorrent, adding, "It's going to take time for the close community of Uckfield to come to terms with the breach in trust and the terrible abuse that has taken place." Howarth was found guilty at a trial in July of 26 counts of sexual offences against 2 boys. The court hearing, he had showered them with gifts in exchange for sex, even videoing some of the abuse.
He was their teacher, he was their priest, he was a family friend, and he subjected them to long-standing sexual abuse.
The Diocese of Chichester has offered Howarth's victims its deepest apology, insisting it continues to work to create a safe space for adults and children in all of its communities.
Well, Piers Hopkirk is live in Lewes for us. And Piers, what did the court hear about the impact on the victims?
Well, clearly it had a devastating impact on them psychologically, but the court was also told that the 2 victims felt that they had had to move away from where they lived because Christopher Howarth was such a well-known figure locally. And what had also compounded their pain was the fact that people continued to refuse to believe that Christopher Howarth was guilty of the crimes for which he was convicted. And the prosecuting barrister told the court that causes the victims huge offence and will continue to cause them huge offence throughout the rest of their lives.
Thanks, Piers.